Okay, the pit's ready for the fire, and I'm calling this video the rules of chili. But first I got to show you the thermometer. It's a rare day in South Florida when the temperature dips below 70 degrees. It's 65 out here, and man does it feel good. It's like free air conditioning. But I just had to show that. I just had to show you that. Anyway, it's time to light the fire and get this chili going. Okay, I got the fire going, and for me, the first rule of chili is no ground beef. I don't like ground beef in my chili. I want steak in my chili. So I got a couple of sirloin tip steaks here, and I'm just going to throw them on there and just sear them on both sides. Just to get a little bit, I'm not going to cook them through. Like I said, I'm just going to sear them on both sides just to get a little of that barbecue flavor on them. And then I'm going to cut them up into chunks, bite-sized chunks. And I've also got some hot Italian sausage. I'm not going to cook that. I'm just going to take it out of the casing and put it in to the chili. But that's the first rule, no ground beef. Steak and sausage. That's the only meat that goes into my chili. Okay, so the first ingredient in the pot is, of course, bacon. Because, you know, everything's better with bacon. And I'm going to throw in that sausage out of the casings. Stir that around a little bit. Move this back over the fire. Move my camera a little bit so you can see it back on the fire. And I'm going to throw in that sirloin steak that I cubed up. We're just going to stir that around a little bit. You can use any kind of steak. Oh boy, one fell off the thing here, dog. You want this? There you go. And you can use it, the fattier the better. I think like chuck steak is the best. Or, I don't know, just the cheapest cut of steak you can get. You could even use like leftover steak or leftover roast beef, but just don't ever put chopped meat in your chili, because that ain't chili, that's just mush. And this is going to turn to mush too, because this is going to simmer for 4 hours. And that brings me to the second rule of chili, which is that good chili simmers for 2 hours. You know, anything less than that, you're wasting your time. This is going to simmer for 4 hours. Great chili, 4 hours. So we've got that going on in there. And that's rule number 2. You got to simmer for at least 4 hours. Okay. Next thing we're going to put in is some, I've got 2 whole chopped onions. Going to throw that in there, and I've got a whole chopped bell pepper, and I've also got a chopped jalapeno here. I'm going to put that in, and then we're going to have to add some kind of liquid to this, and the best liquid I could think of would be some beer. Sound good to you? Sounds good to me. I'm going to go get some beer and add to that. Alright, I got the Frosty Dad mug out, and I'm going to pop the top on this. And of course we've got Pitmaster privilege right here. So we're just going to fill that Dad mug up. Oh boy, it's got a head on it. Looks good though. I guess we should put some in the chili. Give it a little, some kind of a liquid to it. I'm also going to be putting some other stuff in it, which is going to bring us to our third rule. But first, we have to take care of the pitmaster. Got to get his head right, because as this is simmering, I'll be out here strumming my guitar and sipping on this frosty cold beer. That thing's not going to go down anytime soon. I'll put a little bit more in the chili. I guess the chili deserves a little bit too. And I'll just put some more in my mug and a little more in the chili, and a little bit more in the mug, and I think the mug's just about got as much as it can stand right now, so we'll put the rest in the chili, and that's that. Okay, and now we're getting ready to add the rest of the ingredients to that, which is going to make rule number 3 coming up. Okay, the next ingredient I'm going to add is 2 cans of diced tomatoes. And these diced tomatoes already have green chilies in them, which is really good if you could find them in your grocery store. It's excellent. It's mild, they're not hot or anything, but we're going to add some spices that's going to give this some kick. And that's the third rule of chili for me, is that you always add the spices, never use a mix. Never use, there's some stuff on the market called Chili-O, and there's some other crap. One of the better ones, Carroll Shelby's chili mix, but he adds some stuff in it to thicken it that I don't care for. I mean, Carroll Shelby built some great race cars, but I don't know, he doesn't know jack about chili. If it's the same guy, I don't even know. But anyway, we're going to add the spices next, and rule number 3 is always use your own spices, never use a mix. Okay, what I'm going to do next might shock a lot of people, so if you're squeamish, you should look away from your screen right about now. But in a competition, no beans are allowed in your chili. But this is not a competition, and I like beans, so I'm going to add a can of red beans to my chili. It's not a lot of beans, just 1 small can, but it's enough to know you'll know that there's beans in it when you go to bite into it. And it adds fiber, which is good. Fiber's good for you. So I put a little bit of beans in there. And I might add some pickled jalapenos. Give it a little heat. I haven't really tasted it yet. And it's got a long way to go. It's got at least 3.5 more hours to simmer on there. I've added some hardwood for a little bit of smoke. And I'm going to cover that thing up and just let it cook. Well, it's been about 3.5 hours. It's cooked down a bit. I'm going to leave it for probably another hour. But I'll tell you what, it's looking good. I wish you could smell that. I wish you could taste it. It tastes wonderful. I didn't even need to put any salt or pepper in it. It's just spiced up perfectly. Tastes great. So there you have it. That's my my chili. Excuse me, made by my rules. 3 rules of chili. Next week, I promise we're going to make fish. Bye.